Alright. You guys can say something.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. We have a guest speaker here today.
Hello.
Her
I
name's
think she's
Amanda.
eating something.
Is she? Are you eating your Cajun,
Cajun fries from Popeyes.
Mine.
Very happy.
I do love a good Cajun fry, so you got me there, buddy.
Since Will is somewhere in the Pacific Northwest.
Will,
His
all over the
Snapchat says
country.
it was.
Yeah, so
He's drinking a Coors Light every day now, apparently.
he's officially become white trash. So anyway, Amanda, why are you here?
Because I like Harry Potter.
Oh right,
We're
we're doing
here-
Harry Potter today. I forgot.
We're here to talk about that there Harry Potter.
Harry
Harry
I
Potter.
appreciate that accent.
her Potter. We
Harry
don't
Potter, the
like
audacity.
we don't like black magic here in the South.
We do that.
It's
there
not funny
voodoo.
because I do have a friend whose mother actually refuses to have Harry Potter in her house because of that.
Oh, there's lots of people that do.
And
That's
she's
like
Wiccan.
a thing, yeah.
It is black magic.
Wiccan?
It's not cool if you're religious.
I didn't know that Wiccans would be upset with. Oh, do you?
Titus,
Not
shut up.
Wiccan. Her mother's like a super hardcore Christian, but she's Wiccan, and so her mom doesn't know that she's Wiccan, and so.
Oh! Your friend is Wiccan.
Wiccan. Sorry.
That's pretty wicked.
Wicked. So, I've seen all the movies and I do enjoy them.
I've seen all the movies. I haven't finished all the books.
I will admit that I have never read one of the books. So
He's never read a book. No
I've
book
never
ever.
read a book.
What's wrong with you?
I somehow got through school. I don't know how.
You're missing some good shit, man.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, like reading the books now and then seeing the movies.
Like
I'm
the
wow,
one
we're
character
missing a
they've
lot.
never included in the movies except for in the deleted scenes, Peeves the Poltergeist.
Yeah, I can't
He's
believe
funny.
he
I like
just
him.
doesn't exist.
Is that really
Yeah.
a thing? They just
Yes.
They just
Yeah,
totally
he's-
didn't
he's
have him as
He's one
part
of the
story?
ghosts that haunts Hogwarts, and he
He's
causes
so
mischief.
fucking annoying. He is so annoying. He's just
He's
an
annoying.
asshole.
Yeah.
He just bullies the students. He's literally like Hogwarts is like, oh, we have a
He's a
bully
poltergeist.
who lives. Yeah, they literally. It's
But they do. They piss people off. They do stupid shit. Like they take books out of the thing, and it's like,
I like when he fucks with Umbridge though. That was when I was like, all right, Peeves, like you're redeeming.
He's
yourself,
not
like,
a cool guy.
Now you're a cool guy.
I like Nearly Headless Nick because he's not.
Yo, he was a bro.
He's not completely headless, but he's also
He's
played
a
by
whole-
John Cleese, who I love.
I don't know who that is.
He's a bro.
You never watched
Nearly
Monty
Headless
Python?
Nick is the house ghost of Gryffindor.
I love Monty Python.
Well, she knows. I think she knows who that is. She doesn't know who John Cleese is.
Yeah.
John Cleese is your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberry. Your
No,
brother
shit.
before I
Oh my
cracked
God,
you
the
for
guy-
second time.
The guy
Okay.
on the castle. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
He also played
He also
Lancelot.
played Lancelot.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
wow, that's amazing. I loved the Holy Grail. But anyway, back to Harry Potter.
Back to Harry Potter.
So
Okay.
have we all done the Pottermore quizzes and like gotten our
Well,
houses?
that was going to be the first
Hell
question
yeah.
I was going to ask. I, surprisingly, am a Ravenclaw, which I am super happy about.
Papa!
Because Team Blue.
Team
And then
Blue.
Casey tells me I'm not smart enough, but I tell him it's not all about intelligence. It's about creativity
little bit.
and wit.
Yeah, and he's a witty
I'm
boy.
a witty boy. So,
Ah.
fuck you, Casey.
Fuck you, Casey. Coming at you live.
Calling you out.
I think to no one's surprise, I'm a
I'm a Slytherin.
Gryffindor.
What?
I am not a Slytherin. Check yourself. Check your privilege. I am a Gryffindor. Grr.
Alright,
I don't
alright.
A
check me.
Griffin whore.
Whoa!
Ah!
Wow, you just got a new screen name.
Oh, oh! I am updating my Twitter handle as we speak. Wow!
Amazing.
Wow! I'm
Amazing.
sold on that. What are you, Amanda?
I'm a Ravenclaw.
What? I
Proud
have no.
Ravenclaw. I'm
That's-
smart.
I feel like
I
you're.
never-
I mean, it's hard to say someone's like a Hufflepuff because it's like, what is that? Just like a nice, good.
I
person?
thought Marissa said she was a
Marissa,
Hufflepuff.
yeah, Marissa did take the test and she was a Hufflepuff, but like
I
that's-
can see that. She's
yeah.
like such a little sweetie.
Yeah, she's just like she's a good person, so that's what Hufflepuffs.
Hufflepuffs are just like so wholesome and
Right.
happy and
I-
just like little babies.
Well,
Yeah, now
they're
that you say
actually
wholesome, I was like,
statistically,
actually,
if
man,
you if you look at the dating charts for who tends to date the most in like the Hogwarts houses,
Mhm.
you'll find that Hufflepuffs actually date Slytherins, most of the time because they're the only ones who really see that Slytherins aren't like bad people. They're just a little misunderstood and they're willing to be friends with whoever and whatever. So a lot of Slytherins actually end up getting married to Hufflepuffs.
Interesting.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah. It's kind of nice, isn't it? It's sweet.
Who would Ravenclaws marry? Are the Ravenclaws?
I don't know. We're seekers of knowledge.
Yeah, we are not interested in pussy. We're trying to...
There's different kinds of knowledge sometimes.
What does Gryffindor marry? Other Gryffindors?
I don't really know. I just know that.
You really didn't pay any attention to this chart.
She only
she was
knew
like,
about She's like, I only have one class of information.
I have some information, but nobody really talks about like Gryffindors because they tend to just date whoever the fuck they want to date, and then it's just as far as like it's like Slytherins get such a bad rep for being very like, which they are, to be fair. They're like the rich, aristocratic,
yeah,
needy white people that'll call the cops on you for doing a barbecue on your lawn. They would do it.
They definitely would do that. What's his
name?
What?
Will said Gryffindor, and then we know a Slytherin. Alana's a Slytherin.
I think Brian is a Slytherin, to be fair.
Brian would 100%. Actually, Brian's like a hat stall.
He's a Ravenclaw?
Well, I was going to say, he's
a Ravenclaw on Pottermore, but I think they're wrong.
Brian should be a Slytherin. I don't know how he's not.
Oh, man.
He's a little sneaky sneak.
Knowing that Brendan is a Ravenclaw, what kind of knowledge do you seek? Do you enjoy learning about?
What kind of? I enjoy learning about. I like to read Wikipedia a lot.
No, you don't. Do you really?
I absolutely do. It's one of my favorite things to do. Like right before bed, I'll just find like a random article. I'll even read articles I've already read, and I'll just read them again.
It's me on YouTube. I just find all these stupid people.
I'm like,
That's amazing.
See, that's the thing is like I like learning about random trivia shit. Like I don't like.
Oh yeah, so you are full Ravenclaw.
Like when I go on, like whenever I watch a movie for the first time, like the first thing I do after the movie is I go on IMDb and I like look at all the trivia about it, so I can learn more.
Is that why you know so many random facts about things? I was like, how the hell does he know all of this? Like, who gives him this?
I gave my secret away. That's how I know.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, well, that's how the magic works.
Make it fast, make it magic.
What wizarding career would you pursue?
Oh, I would definitely. I'd be an Auror for sure.
No, that's like a cop, right? Kind of.
Yeah,
they're basically they're cops. It's what Harry Potter becomes.
Right.
At the end.
What about you, Amanda?
I'd fuck around.
I would probably be like someone who does like I'm not gonna lie, I like the creatures. I'd either go with herbology or I would probably be care of magical creatures. I don't know.
So wait,
or something like that I want to do.
So what was McGonagall? She was like the.
McGonagall, she was a polymorph. Yeah, she taught.
Be that?
No, that's
cool. Polymorphs can only transform into one animal. Are only known to transform into one animal.
Oh, is it only one?
But that's not a career, Brendan. A polymorph is just like a ability.
You can't make a career out of that.
You can't like make a career out of turning into a cat.
I feel like if you went into like the Muggle world and were like turning into a cat, you would make pretty good money.
But that's illegal. Then you go to Azkaban.
And then the Order comes for you. There you go.
No, they wouldn't. Not in that.
I would be.
I don't know. I think that I kind of like what Newt Scamander just tries to do. He's just kind of like a guy who runs around and learns about the creatures, and he like helps save them and preserve them.
Gotcha.
And I find that to be quite an endearing job of his. And I liked it when we first met Hagrid. And I loved that he got to like be with the animals and shit like that. It was one of my favorite things. I haven't really looked into a Magizoologist, I think they're called.
Is that what you would be?
I really like them.
I'd be the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. I would break that curse.
Yeah?
Be a duelist?
Yeah, no, hell is yeah. I would teach kids to defend themselves.
Teach the shit out of those kids. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up and I'm gonna be like, I'm an Auror. Let's fucking do that.
I'm like, and guess what, bitch? I'm gonna be in all movies.
In all the movies.
There is a job in which you can be employed called a curse breaker. And they're employed by the Ministry of Magic.
And what? I just break them? No, that's boring as shit.
I don't want to break curses. I want to give curses.
I want to be... Yeah, right?
So just go be a Death Eater.
No, I don't. I'm an Auror. I want to fight the Death Eaters. I want to fuck them up. And,
I don't want to be... Yeah, I want to be a Death
Also, I have like a
I do.
dream of like falling in love with a Death Eater and like we have a really unhealthy relationship.
If that doesn't say everything you need to know
That
about
doesn't
Kayla.
say everything.
Yeah,
If you're toxic,
Jesus.
Kayla,
baby,
Kayla
hit me
sounds
up.
right. She would be an Aura. She just wants to run around shooting
I
people.
feel like I could fix
Yeah.
them, you know?
I would fix them. I would fix them. They wouldn't be. I would reform. They would
Oh,
be like my
God.
Professor Snape. Like I'd reform them.
Well, that
You
leads
know?
into the next question. What are your in-depth and controversial thoughts on Severus Snape?
I
I love
like
that
him.
man.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
I like him more knowing that Alan Rickman played him.
Oh my God, Alan Rickman.
Well,
I
she
love the
wrote,
Family
Yo,
she
Guy
wrote
version
that
of them.
for Alan Rickman, I believe, right? Wasn't that the
I th-
like that was
I
that
read
was the
that.
character as she was writing it? She was just like, well, like
She was like Alan Rickman.
like
Huh.
yeah, as Alan Rickman. So like if they ever
My
made a
most
movie,
controversial opinion about Snape is that he should have been with Lily. I'm a firm
You think-
believer of that because they had the same Patronus, the exact same. Because they say that people with two of the same who have the same Patronus are like fated to be together. They're true loves, and in the
so they were
beginning of the whole
soulmates.
thing is that Lily's Patronus was a doe, but Harry's father's was a stag. So you kind of think that they're together because they're both deer, but then
Right.
you find out that Snape's Patronus is actually a doe as well,
Okay.
and that they were supposed to. And I think Lily, to be honest, Harry's dad was a dick. And
He
we all
was a
agree.
dick.
Well, he
Harry's
was a
dad
bully,
was
right? When he was a kid?
kind of an asshole. He was a bully. He bullied him.
Yeah.
He was a piece of shit.
Yeah. And as Captain
Yeah.
America says, I don't like bullies. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole.
It was
And
Captain
so
America.
then Lily was the only one who actually saw Snape for who he was. And
Right.
It definitely. I mean, you're not wrong. I definitely think that it was a love story that was definitely geared towards, like, pushing Snape.
well, it
and
explains
Lily
why.
together.
Yeah, it explains why she. It's interesting.
Well, yes,
there's a
and
lot of
I
things in the
think-
books that are supposed to be that way, but
Well, like in
yeah.
Order of the Phoenix, that's the one I just finished reading. It shows that like Snape like called her a mudblood, and
Did he really?
because like Lily came to defend
James?
Snape. No,
Okay.
Snape, because James was bullying the fuck out of him. Because James and Peter Pettigrew and Sirius Black would bully the fuck out of him, and Lily was like, "Stop, you piece of shit." And Snape was like, "I don't need your fucking help, you filthy mudblood." And she
Wow.
was like, "All right, well then kiss my ass, you fuck." And then
Wow.
I don't
I
remember how.
think he tried to push her away.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
like, he
when
was like,
she
yeah,
died, it
that's
was
what it sounds
interesting
like.
that he was the first one to find him like that.
Yeah.
And he couldn't protect her. And I think that Snape is one of the most well-developed characters in Harry Potter. I really like characters that kind of are... I love dick characters that are assholes, but there's something more to the reason as to why they're an asshole, and it's a legitimate reason.
I like characters
Oh, like a
that,
trauma baby.
Like, yeah, no, it is fun when a character is like a
I don't
dick,
like
but they're
asshole characters
also
for that.
like a good person. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like House or and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're fun to watch sometimes. I mean, not all the time. Sometimes they get like a little grating, but
Right.
Tragic character attracts me.
yeah, I don't have thoughts on Snape. I just think Alan Rickman. We lost him too soon. He's an awesome dude.
I am
That
still
was the only
still
celebrity
upset
death I
about that.
cried.
Really?
I did too. I lost that and Andy Whitfield, who played Spartacus in that HBO show.
Oh yeah, your one guy crush.
My one guy crush died of brain cancer, and I still miss him to this day. He was handsome. That
You
was
guys want to
good
know
look
a really... So there's a... I don't know if you know, since we're on the topic of Alan Rickman and Snape, I don't know if you guys know about the Snape religion.
Is there an actual
No.
religion for Snape?
Of course
There is. So it's a bunch of women who believe...
Say no more.
I'm going to see if I can find the name for it, but I know it's basically a group of women. I don't know if there's any, it's Snape Wives. They're called the Snape Wives.
Snape
Oh my
Wives.
God.
Or the
Help us all.
Snapists are women in Harry Potter fandom who believe that they channel Severus Snape, allowing his spirit to inhabit their bodies and speak to him, and are engaged in romantic relationships with him and see him as a vital spiritual guide for their daily lives. Now that's like
This is-
the fit, like the whole. That's just the base thing. but some of these women are married.
Human beings are amazing creatures,
And
man.
some of them feel like to get past that they can be married both. They give their bodies to Snape. They feel like they're like inhabited.
All right, this is going a little too off the
If
rails.
y'all have a chance, like it's crazy stuff. These women are nuts.
It sounds like
Wow, is Snape like that
hardcore.
much of like
People,
a
like-
heartthrob for people? Like what?
that. Okay, like that brings us into a completely different discussion. But like, people do get like lost in fandoms a little too much. And
A
it's
bit,
just,
a bit aggressively. Yeah.
and like it actually
Depends on
does
someone.
become like a problem because they're like, that's
It's
like
a problem.
it. Growing up, people kind of you want them to have real friends. I know that sounds
They're
bad.
friends. They're all together. They all love each other. They're like
Yeah,
more
but they're
nice
like-
guys. They're
That's
just
an
gonna hang
issue,
out
but
together.
that's like,
But they're like,
I try not to pass judgment on anyone, but that's
it
if
sounds
you're like,
unhealthy.
if you're sexually
Okay, I'll
worshiping a
pass
book
judgment.
character,
They're fucking weird.
yes, that
That's
is
judgment.
true.
It's fucking weird.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You said it.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you. They're fucking
Thank
weird.
you.
This
They're
leads-
fucking crazy.
Here, this leads into another question.
I feel bad for their husbands.
Which character
God.
do you have a crush on? And
Oh my God.
I'll go first. I will
Yeah.
say, growing up, I think we were like the same age at the time, or she might have been a little bit older. But the girl, I think Luna Lovegood, the blonde chick.
Really?
she's so cute.
Yeah, I
Oh.
loved her, dude. I was just like,
Wow.
oh, she's cute as fuck. Like,
I
and she
have
was
a
like
story
kind of,
for
she was kind of
mine.
like quirky, so I was like, I'm into that shit. So,
I have a story for mine.
Ooh.
It's obviously Hermione Granger, yo, all day, baby,
I mean,
all fucking day. But I have a story because that was kind of my coming out phase when I didn't fully know, because I fell in love with her at Prisoner of Azkaban when she was wearing those fucking jeans. I was like, oh my god, and I just
Or they
I
changed
saw
the
that-
entire style of the entire movie
that's,
franchise.
that's when they got
Yeah.
like dark, right? Like, not
They
when I say
were
dark, I mean the
super
cinematography was dark.
yeah,
Yeah,
it got
it did.
that was the first that when it completely started to go like depressing.
I just said fuck to the uniforms, and they were
Yeah,
like, they're
and they were
normal
like
clothes,
wearing like
90s.
I saw Hermione pull up in like her like people clothes, and I was like, wow. And like I remember walking out of that movie theater, and I was because I saw it with my family, and I was like, wow, I love Hermione in that. She was so good, and I like didn't realize that it was because I was fucking woo.
Because I was a raging lesbian.
I was at woo. So she was like, wow. So from then on,
she was. Yeah, it is funny. Like, this is gonna sound creepy as hell, but you could tell almost from the beginning. You're like, that girl's gonna be like a knockout. You know what I mean?
yeah. No,
Like-
I saw it like I was like, baby girl.
Yeah.
Baby girl.
What about you,
think?
Amanda?
I got a couple.
Okay, list them out.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Let's go.
do it.
Well,
Hand
my
us the
number
baton.
one is the twins.
Oh, the
The
twins.
twins.
Fred
Oh,
and
fuck.
George.
Okay,
God,
do
they get
you
me
have-
going, and
do
now
you
there's just
lean-
one left. That's
Do
fine.
you lean more
Oh.
towards one than the other?
No, I don't. I think they're both perfect.
Love
I-
And
it.
then one
like
died,
how-
so I guess I have to lean towards another one now. So it's okay. They were just like, okay, so I had a phase, and it's still kind of there, but not really. I'm a redhead, right? And
Wait, what?
I've always wanted to have the perfect like redhead guy.
Oh, so you want to keep the gene pool clean?
I'm too cool.
She wants
And then
a
when I
weekly
saw that there were
family.
twins, I was like, oh no. And they're just cocky and arrogant and funny and mischief. And I was like, that's it, right? And they were tall.
Oh my god.
And they were tall. And I was just like,
and
oh.
they were tall.
And they were.
I have a thing. Tall guys are a thing. It was a thing. I was into it. And then there was let's see. There was Remus Lupin. I liked him as a character, but I also loved him as a person because honestly, he was actually like a father figure.
Yeah.
He was
yeah.
incredibly understanding, and also he was a werewolf, and I went through this like werewolf phase where I was like, I heard you guys talking last week, and I cringed at myself.
Oh
This is where this
no,
is
were
gonna
you?
go. Did you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
talk about the
yeah.
werewolf people?
Yeah, she did tell me
I
about this.
Legitimately was
God.
one of those kids, but I wasn't that hardcore about it. Where I was like, if I could be any mythical creature, I would totally be a werewolf because they're way cooler. But like in school, we would be like with my friends who were like, I'd be a vampire. And I'm like, yeah, well, I was born on a full moon, which I was. And I'd be like, yeah. And it's like, you'd look up like the signs of a werewolf. Like, even in Harry Potter, they're like, if you're middle toe, no, if you're
Oh, it's if you're
second
the next,
toe, if your
it's like
second
in
toe
line
is
with the big
longer,
toe, or is that what it is?
or longer is, yeah, it's longer. I was like, oh, I would look at my toes all the
think I
time and
did
be
hear
like, come on,
that.
come on, come on, come on,
Oh
come on.
my God.
I was like, oh, but I'm not gonna lie, I hated the movie rendition of the werewolves because he looked like a naked mole
Yeah,
rat.
that was weird.
And I was like, gross.
Yeah, he
I was
didn't
like,
look
nasty.
Well,
But then
that was a weird thing about Twilight, is because they were supposed to be werewolves, but they were just like full
they're
ass
not
wolves.
werewolves. They're
weren't
not
they?
They're
supposed
just
to be
big
werewolves.
ass wolves.
They're not supposed to be werewolves. In the books, they're shifters. They can
Okay,
change. They change to whatever the land needs them to be to protect it.
Got you.
So the land at that time needed them to be wolves.
I did not.
So they're shifters.
I clearly did not know that. I thought they were just badly animated werewolves.
Badly animated.
No, they were like giant dire wolves.
Big ass dogs.
Big ass dogs that can read each other's minds, and it gets really awkward when you find out one of them is a girl.
Oh my god! And they see
Yeah,
titties.
later on. Well, there's a scene in Twilight where she like is having her period, and all the other guys are like, "Oh my god." Yeah, Mormon writers. Am I right?
Oh my god. All right, who else do you have a crush on? Let's get back.
Was my last one, I think, is definitely like I'm not even gonna add Newt Scamander to this mix. He's just cute, and Colin Farrell was, but and it wasn't even Colin Farrell.
Yeah, it was Eddie Redmayne, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Eddie Redmayne, but Colin Farrell was in that movie too. But he was actually Johnny Depp, and I was like, oh, the illusion is gone.
Spoilers.
But who was it? Sirius Black. That was Gary Oldman at his finest. Yeah. He is a fine old gentleman.
Gary
I
Oldman.
swear to God, man, that man still got it. He was just. And it turned into one of my favorite dog breeds, which was I think it's the Scottish Deerhound.
Oh.
And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, if you turned into a different dog, you would have been interested, but Scottish
Deerhound. Not as interested. I was
not as interested, but the dog breed really gets it going.
He is the best. He basically went against his entire family. He removed from the tree,
yeah,
and raised Harry and like gave Harry the family he needed. And I was just like,
what's the family?
He was a great guy. Yeah, Sirius was a really good guy. I think.
And that mustache.
I don't think I was physically attracted to him at all.
Shocking.
Physically attracted. I was just like, wow.
Nymphadora was pretty. I thought she had a nice face.
You thought Nymphadora was?
Yeah, she got to change her. She could change her hair color. Tonks, yeah.
She was also in Game of Thrones.
Because she was half She was
kind of. I'm sorry, not to be mean. She did not do it for me at all. She had a odd look to her.
She was supposed to.
Yeah.
That was the point.
Yeah.
Is that
her
mother was something.
Like, yeah, I'm not trying to be mean. Like, she was a good actress. But she was great in the part when she was in Game of Thrones too. But she did not do it.
I don't know. I mean, no one tops Emma Watson for me. Yeah, but you know, fair. If I were to add a second one, Nymphadora would be my number 2. After that, I'm done.
Which Quidditch position would you play? Now, I think I'd be a keeper because I'm a good goalie.
I could so see myself as a seeker. Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to be a beater.
You want to be a bit? Well, we got a team right here. Look at that.
Wow, right here. Oh my god.
Let's smacking the shit out of things.
I would so be a seeker. Because I always did the sprinting stuff.
Okay, as a sports fan, I will point out that I have an issue with Quidditch as a game because it's like so the seeker you have to end the games, you have to catch the snitch, and the snitch is 100. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's 150 points, right? And goals are like 10 points.
Yeah.
So you're making the goals basically pointless. You know, if it's 150, either you're really like I can't imagine somebody grabbing the snitch and losing. So the game.
No, hasn't that happened?
Yeah,
it's probably very rarely because I mean, if you're letting people score, 160 goals, like if you're letting people go up by 160, then you're a really shitty team.
That's exactly what happened.
But it just makes
in the books.
It makes everything else besides catching the snitch almost trivial to the game. Like the game comes down to who catches the snitch. So I find I take umbrage about that. Like I think it shouldn't be you shouldn't have to end the game. You should be on a clock. You know what I mean? So
a Quidditch game, the longest Quidditch game, at least in the Harry Potter world, was actually about 3 months. and they literally they tell you that they had to switch in, like keep bringing in subs.
I mean, I would imagine.
So that other people could rest. So yeah, because literally, it was actually Oliver Wood who talks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He talks about it being that's the longest game as far as we know.
But see,
in the books.
Like that's I normally, it's funny because my favorite sport is baseball, and I take issue with sports that use clocks, but at the same time, I just find it very, like I said, I just think it makes the rest of the game kind of trivial. Correct me if I'm wrong. It just, all right, well, it just comes down to who grabs the fucking snitch.
You guys ever play like the old the
Quidditch
the
GameCube one
game? Oh
yeah,
my
it was fucking amazing, that game. That game was fun.
I love that game. I always played as Team Australia.
I always played as Team America, and it was cool because it was like, I think their thing was in Salem, and they do they do like American things because they like, what is like the quaff is like the main thing, the quaffle, and he like the main guy, it was like a black guy, and he like fucking dribbled it under his feet. I was like, this is kind of fucked up, but awesome at the same time.
You have a rival in the game because I hated fighting French. They were my hardest opponent.
I remember that game being super easy.
It was easy, but there were times like there was like one team that every time I would play, I'd be like, haha.
Yeah.
I feel like
and they'd be like, I'm going to score a point on you, and I'm like, excuse me?
Oh my god, that should be our next game. We should play that.
I would love to play this game because can't you just fly around? I used to play. I mean, I played like.
You could just. I don't think it's free roam.
Fly around.
I don't think it's free roam.
But like not free roam, but like you can,
around, but
in the arena.
And Kayla's like, so you could just not play the game the way it's meant to be. And just
no, then you'll lose, Kayla.
But all I want to do is fly around.
You can't do that in this game. Go play one of the stupid Harry Potter games.
I want to fly around.
I think it's the third game.
You gotta catch the snitch. No, I just want to fly around.
Catch the snitch, you bitch.
Kayla, please.
They're releasing, I think, a new an open world.
Yeah,
Harry
they're supposed to be.
Has there not been? There hasn't been like a Harry Potter MMO.
No,
that's
not
surprising.
MMO.
There hasn't,
that's
but they kind of did that one where it's kind of like the Pokemon Go people made.
Oh,
yes,
Pokemon game.
Yeah.
The not Pokemon game, the Harry Potter game. But I think I remember it got bad reviews when it first came out because you had to pay to continue.
I don't know if they're going to do a good job. We'll see. They didn't do a good job with Lord of the Rings.
They didn't, as I've heard things.
They tried.
You know what? And like they should, not to turn this into something else, but they should have like taken another whack at like a Game of Thrones game, because I heard terrible things about the one they made, but like that has a lot of material that you could use to make a really good game.
And there's supposed to be more on the way if he can actually put it down on paper.
I'll never write it. Next question. What a
cock tease.
Which Deathly Hallow would you choose? I say the invisibility cloak because I just people are like, where did Brendan go? He's supposed to be hanging out at the bar, and I feel like
it's the cloak, it's the wand,
and the resurrection stone.
How many times can you use the resurrection stone?
As many times as we're gonna need to. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then the wand is just what? Like you cast a really strong spell.
Well, it's the most powerful wand.
It's the most powerful wand. It's the most. It's considered unbeatable.
Okay, I'll take the wand.
All right, guys, I'll take the wand.
I don't think so. It's a toss up between the Elder Wand and the Cloak of Invisibility, because I don't think I would want to summon spirits with the Resurrection Stone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Unless I was like some really cool aura or like detective, I don't think I would ever really use it.
That's fair.
Cloak of Invisibility is just sneaky.
Yeah, no, I would take that all the time. Like I wouldn't tell you
what
what I would do with it.
The Elder Wand seems probably, in my opinion, is probably the most broken one.
Right.
I don't know. It's a hard one to say because all three are very good for different circumstances, but three also cause the downfalls of.
Very true.
I just want to be able to zap people. Just
be like, hey, get out of the way.
That's none of those. That's none of those items.
Now with the wands, I can zap.
You don't want to stab people with the Elder Wand.
Zap.
Oh.
No, it'd make me a really good aura.
That is true, but then you would become mad with power, and you would start zapping everybody for like the slightest infraction.
I'm already mad.
That is true. You've already gone mad with power. I'm going to change this from what book to what movie is in the series is your favorite. So unpopular opinion, I will always argue that if I had to choose one to watch, I'd watch the first one because on its own, it's a great movie.
It's the one that was closest to its source material.
Well, I believe every other movie you need to have a prior understanding of what's going on, and you need to understand like what happened in the prior movies. The kickoff point, everything is explained, and he sort of defeats Voldemort in the end. Of course, spoiler, I don't give a shit. He ends up coming back, but in a way, it has a finality to it. So it's like if they never wrote anything else, I feel like that would have been a good story in and of itself. You see what I'm saying? If I had to pick a second favorite, I would say Prisoner of Azkaban because that's just the bomb movie. But...
I don't know. You go, Amanda.
So normally I would say the third movie because the third book is my favorite, but I think the third movie was awful.
Really?
Because it's once again the thing that you said.
Terrible? So
the one thing that made it really confusing for people who didn't read books, and it was a big deal online when it did come out. And I heard a lot of people complain about it. And when I rewatched it, I was like, because I had the prior knowledge of it. So I knew about the time turner situation.
Mm-hmm.
They really didn't talk about the time turner in the movie. They barely went
they touched on
over the rules, and it was really fast. And so it was very easy to get mixed up in what's going on and the rules. Mm-hmm. And I don't think and also I kind of felt bad because they hinted towards something in the movie and they never did anything with it because it would come to play a big part in the fourth movie, which the fourth movie also ruined a major aspect of
Wait, what?
So in the third book, Hagrid is doing something illegal. He is illegally crossbreeding magical creatures, and he creates a creature called the Blasted Scroot, which you see in the third movie, and they show it because you see the people before Buckbeak comes to gets all deaded.
Interesting.
They come into his house and he hides something. He covers it up, and it's this weird creature thing, and he covers it up with a blanket.
That's what that was.
That's what that was supposed to be. Now, the reason why he did that is one because he's Hagrid and he really likes breeding. He's a breeder.
Hey
yo.
But in the fourth movie, in the fourth book, there's the maze. That's the last trial. And the maze in the book is such a long thing. You encounter a sphinx, and you encounter also because the maze isn't just a maze by itself. It's also got creatures that you have. There's trials within the maze. And one of the creatures is a blast-ended Scroot.
I remember that.
Hagrid, and so it's actually a pain in the ass to kill or defeat. And they alluded. I didn't like that the third movie alluded to the Blasted Scroot, which I got excited for, and they didn't do anything with it. So the third movie did a lot of setup for things that didn't come, and the third movie also it holds a special place in my heart because it's my favorite book, but it's my least favorite movie. So my actual favorite movie is actually the Half-Blood Prince. Because I feel like that book is rarely. When I watch that one more than I watch a majority of the other ones, just because I really like I liked when Harry Potter started getting really dark and the Half-Blood Prince really solidified where they were going with it, and that was the big reveal of who the Half-Blood Prince was, and that's when you learn about Snape, and I liked seeing the duality of the whole him being a double triple agent with everybody and seeing what's going on. It was Snape's big moment, and it was the one that was really welcomed. And I liked seeing Draco Malfoy kind of getting put in his place and having to struggle with trying to figure out who he wants to be.
Yeah, he's a good character. I think he didn't get enough credit to being he was a well-written character because
he's a little shit.
Well, no, but
it's because of his family.
Right,
but
it's because of his family.
It definitely starts off it's almost he's almost like the Prince Zuko of Harry Potter.
Oh yeah,
because he starts off just a shit, but then you watch him be he's put on a trajectory to be a terrible person, but he's not a terrible person. So it's interesting to watch him fight against
He's just terrible because of his family and what he
I lost you.
Yeah, I think she just cut out. Mana.
Act this way and be this way, and be prideful and stuff like that. But then when he has to actually kill someone and he doesn't want to, he's actually a soft boy. Sorry.
No, you
briefly cut out.
Yeah, you lagged out for a second.
Oh no.
Repeat
I'm
what
sorry,
you were
am I
saying.
back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back.
It's just I really liked that it was like he's a product of conditioning, and so like he was raised to be arrogant and prideful and to be proud of being a pureblood, and that this is the way that things have to be. All the ideals that the Slytherin house was supposed to be, especially with its founder. But when it comes to confronting and having to kill somebody for a cause, it's like he's actually kind of a soft boy.
Right.
And he doesn't want to do it.
Right, yeah.
But he wants to also prove himself. So I love character struggles like that. I love seeing a character struggle with such I love bad situations that make people struggle. I'm just like, yes. It's like my favorite thing. It gets me off on a story. It's like, yes.
Yes, struggle.
You
yes.
Struggle. I love it because that's when the best choices are made and the best character development is made.
I agree. Well, yeah, struggling makes you who you are.
Yeah,
Kayla, what's your favorite?
I would have to say, I really like the battle scene. So I'm gonna have to go with Deathly Hallows Part 2, because I like when the last one, because like it also has the redemption at the end. It has the whole like awesome fight scenes. Everyone kind of like has their moment of like fucking shit up. And that's also where McGonagall goes like protect this school, right? It's the second one, right? That she does that.
School.
I fucking love that. When she's just
do your
school. I get chills
every time.
Every time.
I wanted to do that. She's great.
I'm like, she's amazing. Like, I want to go watch it right now. Like, like that is, I gotta say, because the first one's just annoying. Or like part 1 is just annoying. I do like the first movie. The third movie, I just lust after because of Hermione. So I'm not going to pick that one because everything else about it was frustrating. I did really enjoy the Half-Blood Prince because I love Snape's, like, I love how he gets so much attention in that. And I'm like, you're just a bad boy.
You're my bad boy.
I'm like, you're just a little bad boy.
One is it? Which one is it that has the duel with Dumbledore and Voldemort in I think it's in the Ministry of Magic.
I think that's also
Order of the Phoenix.
Is that Order of the Phoenix?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the whole series, though. It's funny because I remember nothing else really about that movie except for that scene because I love that it comes out and he's like, everyone's like, you can't say his name or he would not be named, and he's just like, it was foolish of you to come here, Tom. Like, he's just Dumbledore just drops a Tom on him. He's
like, you're not even a fucking superhero. You're just Tom to me.
Like, Tom, knock the shit off. What are you doing?
It's like, Tommy.
Tommy, you're cranky. Tommy. Like, you need a nap.
Tommy, it's time to take a nap.
That's my favorite moment in the whole series.
Yeah, that was solid.
Last question. Have you guys seen The Cursed Child? I don't know what it's about.
No.
I have not seen it. I have not even read it.
I've read
to be fair.
Is it a book? I thought it was just a play.
It's a play, but they put it into print so you can read the play. But I know they're making a movie out of it.
Oh, good.
With Radcliffe?
Yep. They're bringing back the cast for it.
Am I Hermione?
I'm kind of scared to read it. I've been scared to read all these. I probably should just sit down and do it because I've read everything else. Like I read Tales from Beedle and the Bard. I had the 3-book set that was like Quidditch Through the Ages, like the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I've read like the history of Hogwarts, but I've never once touched. I've always wanted to, and I work at a library, so we have it, and I should just suck it up and just read it. But from what my mom said, she was like, it was
So I read the synopsis on it because I was curious as to what happened, and it's just like a whole lot of fuckery. Like it's just like a whole lot of nonsense involving the Time Turner, and it's just like.
Well, that's so funny.
That's why people who are. Yeah. Yes.
See, I wasn't a fan.
They
really abandoned that. like that was a hell of a
Well,
MacGuffin that they just were just like, yeah, this could
well,
control
no,
time.
like the cursed child goes back and addresses why the time turner isn't
Can't be
effective.
all right. Well, that makes
can't
sense
be
then.
utilized. So she closes that gap, which is good, but it's just like so much fuckery, man.
Yeah, a little.
Time
too
turner
much
is actually
fuckery.
what they didn't really tell you in the movies is that the time turner is actually guarded by the Ministry of Magic, and only people
I
with
would fucking
recommendation. Yeah, no, because it's incredibly powerful. Because the
there's
rules
only
are like
one?
you can't interact with your settings, but they did nothing but interact with
With
their settings.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
entire
they were
point.
Like
of what
legitimately, and
There's
I'm like, what was
throwing
even the
rhapsodies
point
at
of giving you the
yeah.
rules?
Yeah.
And there's different kinds. She's got a common one, but there's different kinds of time turners. So the one that Hermione gets is actually kind of a low end time turner,
Okay.
but they have a shit ton in the Ministry.
What's the difference in quality? Like, does it mean like you have better graphics when you go back?
Is it like it's like one made by Apple and one's made by like Skull Candy?
One was actually Lucius Malfoy actually worked on making one. With somebody. So they're not restricted by hour reversal, which is like the one Hermione has. Hermione got a lesser one because one is done by hours, not days.
Okay.
True time turners have different times in which they can go by. Not a lot is known about them. I think they go into a little bit of it, but even then, they're still kind of a mysterious. I know that Lucius commissioned. I think no. Lucius's father commissioned the creation of a time turner to save Voldemort at one point. But he also passed a time turner down to Draco, who used it to actually save like Albus Dumbledore. So it's a complicated bag.
Where do you find this? Where do you see this about like Dumbledore and everything?
They talk about it in the books, but you have to like. There's a lot of details that are in them. Yeah.
You're busy fucking lusting after Hermione.
It's in everything. So like the time turner is actually referenced. So its first appearance, was Prisoner of Azkaban, but it is in the Order of the Phoenix, the Half-Blood Prince, and the Cursed Child, and Fantastic Beasts. But it wasn't in the movie. It was, I think, it might have been, but it might have been like a deleted scene if they ever did anything with it. But it's got a lot of implications.
Interesting.
So some of them go by minutes, some of them go by days, some of them go by hours. It depends on their make and the type of metal used, if I'm not mistaken. But
I go back.
There's a lot of good stuff that people don't realize is in Harry Potter that she actually kind of. I'm not gonna lie. If you guys have negative feelings about J.K. Rowling, that's fine, as a person. But I do respect the fact that she did put a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, this is like so much creativity.
The world.
Yeah, it's
like, how do you come up with a history? Like, it's like, oh my god, it's impressive.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
I disagree with a lot of reviews, but she made crazy, for something. I think she started writing at a coffee shop because she was bored. I mean, she created just a worldwide phenomenon. Like, it is crazy.
Oh, it's amazing.
You gotta give it to her.
How do you even come up with that? I've been trying to come up with. I always wanted to write a book.
Well, time travel is such a tricky thing to play with because you have to set rules for your time travel, stuff like that.
This sounds cynical. Time travel. The problem with time travel is I feel like that's where you go when you're in a corner writing wise. Sometimes, I mean, if you start off with that already as a subject, then that's one thing. But the perfect example is, spoiler to Kayla, even though she'll never fucking watch it, is like Endgame. Everybody, like, no one knew Avengers Endgame. No one knew going into that movie what it was about. But everybody guessed that it was about time travel because there was literally nothing else that they could do about it. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a time stone, so you knew at some point they were going to have to throw that in there.
Knew, like, I was like, all right, well, they're not going to just undo everything, so something's got to happen. And to their credit, they wrote it in beautifully. But everyone was like, well, you're at this dead end, so now we got to do something. And everybody guessed it. And that's the issue you have with time travel is you kind of do. If you don't do it well, it does kind of disappear like a crutch in a way.
Well, if you have to, like, with any time travel, like the anime Steins Gate is a good example of a good time travel because it actually establishes itself and the rules of the world and stuff like that, and things that can and can't happen. And even if you try doing this, maybe something bad will still happen, or you can't constantly keep doing this. And in order to change something, you have to legitimately like do certain things.
Right.
And there are a lot of good stories out there. There are a lot of bad time travel stories that completely like, break the rules, like Harry Potter, where they directly,
where they
fuck with
directly
their
break their own
surroundings.
rules.
Like literally, like Hermione could have been arrested
For
for the
Ministry
shit
of
that
Magic.
she pulled.
Yo, she could have been thrown.
She could have
Imagine
been
that,
put
Kayla.
away.
Imagine your girl in prison.
Imagine her in
all
handcuffs.
chained up.
No.
She could be in handcuffs.
On that note, I think we can go on to the episode. Amanda?
She was 14? No,
What
she wasn't.
Well, in the book she was, but I mean, by the last movie,
Every book was year.
20s?
Yeah, it's like 11, 12, 13, 14.
Oh my god, I'm going.
She's an old lady now.
At that time when I was crushing on her, I was underage as well. So
yes,
it's
exactly.
You don't have to justify. You don't got to justify. You don't got to justify.
Amanda, you want to plug your podcast?
Oh yeah. Sure. So I am part of a podcast for my local library here in Mahopac, New York, and the podcast is called the Caffeinated Librarians. It's me joined usually by 2 other co-hosts, maybe more, maybe less, and we talk mainly about some of the newest movies or shows that have been coming out, but we still relate it to your library system and seeing what you can find that maybe is related to
very
these
entertaining
things.
Stuff.
This week, if this episode this Fam Bam one drops tomorrow.
Oh no, it's dropping tonight.
I know Friday we drop our new episode where we talk about the Green Knight. And that one's honestly a really fun episode where we talk about, not just the movie, but the source material. We even have a girl who works at the library who's a historian. And she kind of gives her 2 cents on how she feels about it. And it's a lot of fun. And so for the holidays, we've got some really fun stuff planned. We plan on doing Cowboy Bebop soon. Huh? You'll hear me tear that apart.
Space Cowboy.
It's going to be a very emotional episode.
Oh my god.
The link will be in the description. The link will be in the description below, so check her out.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming and filling in for Wilbur. And we know he doesn't like Harry Potter, so it was a perfect night to do that.
Just strap him to a chair and make him watch it.
Oh, now there's an idea.
Yeah. That is I'm all ready.
If you could make a drinking game out of Harry Potter.
No, that's fair.
You could. That's also, I love how that's the alternative.
Yeah, really.
You could do
it. Him down or make a drinking game. Honestly, that's the best way to get somebody to do something they don't want to do. Make a drinking game out of it.
That is very true.
There's some good ones. Whenever Snape goes, Potter. Take a shot.
Wow.
The best one is Hocus Pocus, and I did it once, and I was like, all right, I need to stop. Because things happen in that, a lot of things repeat in that movie that you don't realize.
For the adults watching this podcast that are over 21, just know that if your friend doesn't want to watch something, you can always make a drinking game out of it. Make it more interesting.
Or tie them down.
Or tie them
down. Just keep it on the down low.
Keep it on the DL.
No one's got to know.
All right, we'll see you all next week.
All right,
bye.
Wow.
Right, shit, hang on.